on what we have done on trigonometry and duration. So I've penciled out some questions that we're going to work on. So I want every one of you to get ready for today's class. Get your writing materials and your four-figure table, your calculator, and your notebook. And don't forget to invite your friends. Let them know the class has started. So you may have to share this video link to them. Kindly do that now so that we have a good number before we start. All right. Okay. So let's wait for those that will just be joining us. So in a few seconds, we are going to start. And don't forget, if you are new in the channel, ensure you subscribe to the channel, and also always remember to click on the like button. Thank you. So quickly inform your friends or classmates, let them know the class has started. Okay, yes, let's see. Hope we have a good number before we commence the class today. Okay, I want to believe everyone can see the board clearly. All right, you are all welcome to class. Now, before we commence the class, don't forget to give a thumb to the class. Kindly do that now. And if you are new in our channel, ensure that you subscribe to this channel so that whenever we're on here, you will be duly notified. Okay, now let's look at this question. Now, this is the first question. Is under trigonometry. How do we solve this problem? Now, in the figure below, the sides of the square are 5 centimeters long. So you have to calculate the length of the side of the large triangle. Okay, I want to believe we can all see the question. All right, now let's look at this triangle. Now you can see a square here, means all the sides are equal. That's the characteristic of a square. And secondly, angles of square is what? Each of them is 90 degrees. So that means this place is going to be 90 degrees. That makes this triangle to be a right angle triangle. All right, so in the question we are given that the side of the square is 5 centimeters. So it means this place is 5 centimeters. Okay, so we can label this A, B, and C. So now we have triangle triangle ABC. I hope you can see that. So now we can get this side BC. And let's get this B side. Now this is going to be the adjacent to this triangle, while this is opposite. So now let's call this place small a. All right. And let's look at it now. So opposite and adjacent. So opposite over adjacent. So opposite over adjacent, that's tan. So tan 35 degrees equals to opposite, which is 5 over adjacent, that is A. Now, so we cross multiply. So if you cross multiply, you have A tan 35 equals to 5. Okay, so you divide both sides by tan 35. So we have A equals to 5 over tan 35. So A equals to 5 over. Now, what is tan 35? Can you check that in your 4-figure table and tell me what you have as tan 35? Or you make use of your calculator. So do that and drop the answer in the comment section. So before we commence, tan 35. Okay. Yes, I can see Bolahon with a result. Bolahon, low casting. Joseph, I can see that. Okay. And 35. So if you check well, let's see. All right. Okay, it seems virtually all of us got the answer. So we have 0.7002. So that is what we have as tan 35. So now what will be our answer? So you divide that 5 divided by 0.7002. So what do you have as the answer? So I have here 7.14141. Okay, so and that's going to be in centimeter. All right. Now the question wants us to get the side, okay, the sides of the large triangle. This is the large triangle. Okay, so now look at it. Now we have this length here. So from here to here, as we got into the 7.141, and this place is 5. This is 5. So the total length here now is going to be what? 5 plus 7.141. So and that gives you what? 12.141 centimeter. Okay. All right. So let's call this place R and this S. Okay. So now we want to get the side. We have gotten one of the sides. So can we get this side now? So yes, we can get this side. Now how do we get this side? You can see this is a right angle triangle. So we say in triangle SRC. Look at it, triangle SRC. This is the adjacent. This is the opposite. Hypotenuse is length SC. Okay. So now we connect opposite and adjacent together. Luckily for us, we have the value of length RC. So we have tan 35 equals to opposite over adjacent. Now let's call this opposite P. Okay. Well, let's call it Y. Let's call it Y. So that's going to be opposite. That is Y over adjacent. What is adjacent? That is 12.141. All right. So here we can cross multiply. Okay. So we cross multiply here. So what do we have now? We have Y equals to 12.141 tan 35. Okay, I hope you get that. So we now have y equals to 12.141. So you multiply this times 35. We've gotten that before. That is 0.7002. Okay, so now can we multiply now and see what do we have as the answer? That's 12.141 times 0.7002. Okay, so what do we have as the answer? So what I have here as my answer is 8 point y equals to 8.501 centimeter. So we have this side now. Okay, so now we need to get side SC, side SC. So how do we go about this? So we can connect this adjacent with hypotenuse, because we actually want to get this hypotenuse. That's the last side. So now, so when we say adjacent and hypotenuse, that's going to be car. All right. So we have cos 35 equals to adjacent 12.141 over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is what we are looking for. Now let's call this hypotenuse Z. All right. Okay, so now we have over Z. So we can cross multiply now. So we have Z cos 35 equals to 12 point, sorry to the formula. We have 12.141 over cos 35. So Z equals to 12.141 over. So what is going to be cos 35? So check your four figure table and drop your answer. Make sure you are participating in the class. Engage yourself. Get this and drop your answer in the comment section. Let's see what you have. Cos 35. Cos 35. Yes. Okay, I can see balance result. That is 8192. Yes. Any other person? Okay, it's only Bolahon that I'm seeing here. Okay. Yashuku, I see that. Okay. Yes, Moturayo and Riscott. Okay, Familiary and Olorunfumi, I can see you. Korodo, I can see. Okay, yes. I think we are all doing fine. We are all doing fine. So the result is 0.8192. 0.8192. So now Z, the value of Z now will be what? That's 12.141 divided by 0.8192. 8192. So when you divide it, what do you have? You have 14.821 centimeter. Okay, so the work have been done. Now the question asks us to find the length or the sides of the bigger triangle. So this is the bigger triangle. So we have gotten this side. So the first side is 12.141. The second side is what? 8.501. And the last one is what? 14.821 centimeters. So, and that is the answer to that problem. So I want to believe we all get that. All right, so I'm going to be looking at another question under variation. I told you earlier that I have some questions that are penciled down that we are going to be looking at. So it's going to serve as a revision for the classes we've had. Okay, so let's look at the next question here. A is partly constant and partly varies with V. So when V equals to 40, D equals to 1, A equals to 150, and when D equals to 54, A equals to 192. A, find the law of variation, and B, hence find A when V is 10. Okay, this is a very simple question under partial variation. For those of you that said you missed the last class, so you want me to repeat partial variation. So this another example under partial variation. Okay, so now before we solve the problem, if you are new in the channel, so endeavor to click the notification button. Ensure that you also click on the like button. All right. So now let's look at the problem here. A is partly constant and partly varies with B. When B is 40, A is 150, and when B is 54, A is 192. Now the question says find the law of variation, and hence find A when B is 10. All right, so now let's solve the problem. Now you have A is partly constant. What that means is that A equals to a constant. So you can just assume any alphabet for the constants. But in this class, I'm going to be making use of small letter A and small letter B for our constants. Okay, so because we are going to be making use of two constants in partial variation, so I want the two constants to be A and B. Okay, so now look at this. Now A is partly constant, that is A is equals to a constant. So let me represent that constant with small letter A. All right, and you have plus there, and partly varies with V, and partly varies with V. You write V, which is a variable. So immediately you put a constant beside it. So the second constant, which is B. So we have two constants here. We have A and B. So let's write it. A comma B are constants. So both are constants. So after writing this, the next thing is to get two equations, which we are going to solve simultaneously. All right. So now let us see. We plug in the values of A and B given in the question. Let's look at the question. Now in the question we are told that B is 40, A is 150. just substitute this into this equation. So wherever I see B, I put 40. Wherever I see a capital letter A, I put 150. So can we plug in that? So we have 150 equals to A plus. Now B is what? 40. That's 40B. So call this one equation 1. Right? Now let's look at the next one. Okay, so when B is 54, A is 192. Okay, so now let's plug in that into this equation again. So we have 192 equals to A plus B. B is now 54B. Okay, we call this equation 2. Now, the next thing is to solve this equation simultaneously. So now what we're going to do is a very simple equation. So we just subtract one from the other. So I subtract this from this from this, and this from this, or the other way around. Okay, so now I'm going to take away 150 from 192. So when you subtract, what do you have? You have 42 equals to, you can see the equality sign, okay, equals to, now A minus A, that gives A minus A, that gives you 0. So 54B minus 40B, that gives you what? That gives you 14B. Please, you have to be very careful when subtracting. Now, what I'm doing now is this minus this minus this, and this minus this. Don't change it the other way around. Okay, so now the next thing is to divide both sides by 14. And let's see, we have 42 over 14 equals to B. Now let's see, 2 goes here is 7. 2 goes here is 21. 7 goes here 1. 7 goes here 3. So therefore B equals to what? 3. So that is the value of B. Now we need to get A now, the constants. So you plug in B into any of the equations. But I prefer equation 1 because I can see that the values there are not that big. So I love working with small numbers. Okay, so now let's look at equation 1 now. We have 150 equals to A plus 40B. So instead of writing B, we plug in 3. So we have 3 here. Okay, so we have 150 equals to A plus. Now that gives you 120, right? Good. So now you transpose 120. So you have 150 minus 120. That gives you A. So you have A equals to 30. Okay, can you see what we have just done now? We have gotten the two constants. So what is the next thing to do? Is to get the law of variation. Now, this is where you are going to get the law of variation from. This. Yeah. All you just need to do, write this and change A and B. Change A to what you have as A, which is 30, and change B to what? To 3. So that's what we're going to do. So we write thus A equals to, what is the A? We have 30 plus B, and B is what? B is 3. So we have 3 what? 3B is the law of variation. Now, I want to call your attention to this. I've seen students writing this in the wrong way. Some will write, instead of writing 3A, 3B, they will write B3. This is not proper. This is not how to write. So you cannot say orange is 3. Doesn't make sense that way. So number should always be at the front. Okay. If number is going to be at the back like this, the only way to write it is to write it this way. Okay, so we have that notion now that this is multiplying this. But once you have done the multiplication, So 3 should be at the front. So that would make more sense. All right, so let's take note of that. Okay, so that is the first task. Now the second task is you have to find when V is 10. So when V is 10, you are giving V to be 10. So you make use of the connecting formula or the law of variation. You can see what the question says here. Hence, find. That means you use the result you have here to get what you have here. What you have to find here, to find A. If you do it the other way around and you have the correct answer, you'll be penalized because the question asks you to continue from where you stop. So you are not expected to use any other method apart from what you have here. Okay, so now let's continue. And this is the law of variation. So I have A equals to 30 plus 3. I've been given V. What is V? V is 10. So I have 10. So now I have A equals to 30 plus 30. So A is what? A is 60. So that's a very simple one. So I want to believe every one of you got that. Okay. So now I have another question that is going to be under trigonometry. Okay. But this time around, we are going to be making use of cosine rule to solve trigonometrical problem. Okay. So let's write the question on the board. Okay, let's look at the problem here. Now you have to find the value of x in the figure below. Find the value of x in the figure below and leave your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So how do we solve this problem? Now what comes to mind when I see this type of problem? Now I begin to think of which rule should I use? Can I begin to think of Pythagoras theorem? No. Why? Because this is not a right angle triangle, so that will not come to mind. Now, the next thing is to begin to look at my trigonometrical ratio. That will not work here because this is not a right angle triangle. All right. So once I discover those ones cannot work, the next thing now is to begin to think of sine rule or cosine rule. And don't forget what I told you the last time that if you have to use sine rule, you must be able to show me an angle and its sides. An angle and its side. Now look at this. I have just only one angle, but the side is what I don't know. So that means I can't use sine rule. Now what comes to mind now is cosine rule. So I quickly label this. Let me label this A, B, and C. Now, what is cosine rule saying? I'm going to show you here. Look at this. If you have A, B, C, and this is side A, this is side B, and this is side C. Now, cosine rule, we have A squared equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. All right. So this is side A, side B, side C. And this is angle A. Or you have it as b squared equals to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cos b. And the last one is going to be c squared equals to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos c. So it's either I use this or this to solve this problem. Now let us look at it now. I'm looking for side A. I'm looking for side A. So this is side A. This is A. This is angle B. And this is side B. This is B. This is angle C. This is going to be side C. Okay? All right. Sorry for that break in transmission. Okay. All right. So can we go on with the class? All right. Okay. So now this is angle B, side B, angle C, side C, angle A, side A. So the side that is opposite to an angle is the side of that angle. All right. So now I'm looking for side A now. Side A. So how do I get this side A? I'll be making use of this formula. So A squared equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. So now let's write it out now. So what is B in this question? Now side B is what? Is 5. So that's 5. What is side C? Side C is what? Is 8. What is angle A? Angle A is 46. So now we just plug in all of these into this. And A that we are looking for, A is the same thing as X, because in the question we have X. Is that clear? All right. So now let's plug in that into this equation. So we have X squared equals to B squared. That's going to be 5 squared plus C squared. That is 8 squared. Okay, minus 2 times 5 times 8. 2 times 5, B is 5, C is 8, cos A, cos 46. Hope you understand that now. All right, so let's see. So we have x squared equals to, now when you square 5, what do you have? You have 25. When you square 8, you have 64. And then when you multiply this, you have 80. And then you find cos 46. Okay, can you tell me what is cos 46? Cos 46. Cos 46. Now drop your answer in the comment section. Let me see what you have. Cos 46. Yes. Anyone? Cos 46. You can make use of your 4-figure table or okay. I can, how far can you, is the board clearer now? I can see someone saying the board is blur. Is it better now? Okay. Okay, okay, I can see our answers. All right. Okay, good, good, good. All right, I think the board is clearer now. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Folashade. Okay, so what we have as scores 46 is 0.6947. So that is what I have here. 6947. Okay, so we have x squared equals to, now when you add this and this together, what do you have? You have 89 minus, now let's multiply this. Now what do you have? 80 times 0.947. Okay, so you have 55.576. Okay, so when you subtract 89 minus 55.576. So what do you have? You have 33.424. Okay? Yes. Now here you can take square root of both sides. So you have x equals to square root of 33.424. So what do you have as the answer? Can we find the square root now? So square root of 33.424. Okay, so here I have 5.7813 centimeter. Okay, all right, so this is not going to have centimeter. Okay, so now let's look at it. I want to point our attention to something here. So everyone should look here. Now, students make mistake a lot here. You see, once we get here, you cannot go ahead and subtract 80 from 64 because this 80 is joined to this. All right, so they are multiplying each other. So you must multiply before subtracting. Do you understand? And so you join these together, and this that are multiplying each other, you join. Just like what we had here before you now start subtracting. So don't be tempted to subtract. So once we subtract, there will be an issue, and that answer will not be correct. Okay. Now, the question asks us to correct to 3 excess. So you count 1, 2, 3. 3 significant figures. 1, 2, 3. So therefore, x equals to 5.78. And this is going to be the value of x. Now, if you observe that I didn't put units here. Now, if I put units here now, so I will be wrong. Because in the question, you can see x is in centimeter here. So you are expected to have your s without centimeter in such a way that when you input this into this diagram now, it will just fit in. But because if you put a centimeter here, so we are having 2 centimeters. So that means this side now is going to be centimeter square, and that will be wrong. So once the alphabet have units, so by the time you start solving, so there will not be units here. So this is going to be the correct answer. So x equals to 5.78. Okay, so that is the answer to the problem. So now we are going to look at another problem. So don't forget, those of you that have not subscribed to this channel, ensure you do that, and give this class a thumb if you have not done that. Okay, so let's look at another question. Um, find the value of y and correct to the nearest tenth in the figure below. We have this. All right, so that is the question. I want us to examine this question. So how do we solve this type of problem? Yes, what formula are we going to use to solve this problem? So if you know, I want you to drop it in the comment section. What formula are we going to use to solve this before we solve it together? If you are given this type of question in your exam, what formula, what approach, what law are you going to use to solve this problem? Find the value of y and correct to the nearest tenth in the figure below. Yes, is there anyone that want to tell me what method are you going to use to solve this problem? Anybody? Okay, Omolara, you are just greeting us. Yes, answer my question. Are you just joining the class? Okay. Yes, is anyone? Okay, nobody can tell me what method we're going to use to solve that. Okay, no problem. I'm going to tell you. So now looking at this, I know I cannot use Pythagoras theorem. I can't use trig ratio. You know why? Because this is not a right angle triangle. I said that earlier. So whenever you see triangular problem like this, you should know the method you're going to use to solve. So now I know it's not a right angle triangle, so I know I can't use trig ratio. I can't use Pythagoras theorem. So what comes to mind is sine rule or cosine rule. Now, if I'm to use cosine rule or sine rule, sorry, if I'm to use sine rule, I must be able to show you an angle and its corresponding side. Now, when you look at this diagram, the only angle we have here is what? 112. So this is an angle, and this is the corresponding side. So the corresponding side is not given, so I can't use sine rule. But if it were to be cosine rule, I must have two sides given and one included angle. So that is an angle between two given sides, which is given here in the question. So I'm going to make use of cosine rule. So now let me label this so that I'll be able to generate a formula here. Let me call this piece y and this is x. Okay, so now I need to get y. So I have it this way: y squared equals to the other side r squared and x squared. So r squared plus x squared minus 2rx cos y. Okay, so now let's plug in these values here. Now, this is side x. So this is x equals to 6 centimeter. This is side r. R equals to 15 centimeter. Can we plug in that and let's see what we're going to have? Okay. So now let's plug it in. So we have y squared equals to r. R is 15 squared plus s is what? 6 squared minus 2 times r, that is 15, times 6. Okay. So cos 100 112 degrees. So now this one gives us what? This is what? 15 square is 225 plus 36. Okay, so when you multiply this 30 times 6, that is 180. Okay, all right, so now look at this. Whenever you want to find cos of a number that is greater than 90 degrees, you have to change this sign. This will turn to plus because is in the second quadrant. This angle is in second quadrant, and cos is negative in the second quadrant. So that means that negative here must multiply this one. So you change this one to plus immediately when you subtract this from 180. So see what I'm going to do now. So this turns to plus, and I have cos 180 minus 112. So this is what they're supposed to write. You can see what changed now. Once you subtract this from 180, the sign here, which is negative, changed to plus. All right. Okay, so now let's add now. So we have y squared equals to, so let's add this and this together. So 161. Okay. All right, so 261. So it's 261. Okay. Plus 180 cos. Now when you subtract, what do you have? You have 68. We have 68. So we have y squared equals to 261 plus 180 cos 68. So what do you have? Cos 68. So can you drop your answer in the comment section? What is cos 68? Okay, can we do that? Yes. Cos 68. Cos 68, I have 0.6942. Yes. 0.3746. 0.346. Yes. Okay, Moturayo, I can see your results. Okay, Olamilekon, you're welcome. Yes. All right. Okay. Yes. So the answer to this is 0.3746. Okay, so that is the answer. Okay, so we have y squared equals to 261 plus. Now you use this to multiply this. What do you have? 180 times 0.3746. So what do we have? We have 67.428. So we are adding that to 206. So what do you have? Y squared equals to 328.428. Okay, here you can take square root of both sides. We have square root of 328.428. So y is what? So y is going to be square root of 328.428. So the answer is going to be 18.123 meters. Okay, you can see the difference between this one and the one we did earlier. So there's no unit here, so y must have meters. All right, but the question asks you to correct your answer to the nearest tenth. Nearest tenth means to the nearest 1 dp. Okay, 1 dp, because the position of this one here is tenth, followed by what? Hundredths, followed by what? Thousands. Okay, So since we have to correct to the nearest tenth, we have y is approximately 18.1 meters. So this is going to be the answer to the problem. All right. Okay. I want to call your attention to something here. What I did. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, I can see some of you saying you can't hear. Can you hear me now? All right, okay, good. Thank you. So now let's look at this last question under trigonometry. Last question under trigonometry. All right, okay, so now let's look at the question here. You have to find the length x and angle theta. So how do we go about this question? How do we go about this question? Now the first thing is to inspect the diagram very well. I can see two triangles there. I have triangle WXY, and I also have triangle WZY. Okay, so now to get angle X, I'm going to make use of cosine rule, as you can see. Now it's very difficult for me to get this theta first. I have to get X first, because look at this triangle where we have theta. We only have two sides. We don't have any angle. So we have to consider this triangle here. So by inspection, I know this is the one I have to start with. So I get the value of x. Okay, so now let's say in triangle WYZ. Now in triangle WYZ, we can make use of cosine rule. So we have z squared equals to w squared plus y squared minus 2wy cos z. Okay, so that's going to be the formula we're going to use, because this side here is y, so this angle y, so this is going to be side y. This is angle z, so z equals to x. Now look at angle w, this is going to be side w, so this is w. Okay, so now can we plug in all these values into this equation? So we have z squared, z is x, so we have x squared equals to, yes, that is w. What's w? That's 8 squared plus y is 5 squared minus 2 times 8 times 5 plus z, that is 83. Okay, I want to believe you all get that now. Alright, so we have x squared equals to, now when you square 8, you have 64 plus 25 minus 80 plus 83. Hope you understand that. So we have x squared, when you add this and this together, you have 89 minus 80 cos 83. So what is cos 83? Yes, can you do that for me? Check your figure table or you make use of your calculator. Drop your answer in the comment section. Can we do that fast? Cos 83. So I expect everybody to be participating. Cos 83. Cos 83. So what do you have as cos 83? Yes. Okay, Omolara, thank you. You have 0.12186. All right, I can see Bolaon's results. Yes, Moturayo, we are all doing fine. Yes, where is Rick Scott? Okay, Gabriel, I can see your results. I can also see Bello, Habib. Yes, who else? Make sure you are doing something. Yes. Okay. All right. Others can drop their answer. So let's see what we have here. Cos 83 is 0.1219. So that is what we have. 1219. Okay. So we have x squared equals to 89 minus. So let's multiply this together. Let's see what we're going to have. 80 times 0.1219. So what do we have? We have 9.752. So when you subtract that from 89, so you have 79.248. So here you can take square root of both sides. You have x equals to square root of 79.248. So when you do that, what do you have? Let's see, 79.248. So let's find the square root of that. So you have 8.902. So that is what we have in meters. Alright, so that is what we have. So now we have the value for x. So what is the value for theta? So look at it now. Here I can make use of cosine rule again because I now have all the sides. I have all the sides. So I can get this angle. Okay, so how do we go about that? So I'm still going to use this. Now look at it in triangle XYW. Look at it, triangle XYW. We have that x squared or x squared equals to w squared plus y squared minus 2wy plus x. Okay? Alright, so now what is side W? This is angle W. Side W is 5. Side Y is 6. Okay? And side X is Z, which we have gotten. X is 8.902. Okay, so now can we plug in those values? Now we have x squared. We don't need to use these approximated values since we have x squared to be this. So let us bring it straight away. So we have 79.248 representing x squared. We have it here already. So and we also have w is 5 squared. 5 squared plus y is what? 6 squared, okay, minus 2 times 5 times 6 cos x, angle x is theta. Okay, so now let's look at it now. We have 79.248 equals to 25 plus 36 minus 60, okay, cos theta. 2 times 5 times 6 is 60. Alright, so now let us join these together. We have 79.248 equals to what? That will give us 61. 61 minus cos minus 60 cos theta. Okay, so be careful, you cannot subtract this from this. You can't. Because this 60 now is attached to cos. So what we are going to do here now is we collect the like term, so we transpose 61. So it moves to this side. So, and let's see, what do we have? And let's paint the diagram here. And we paint here. So, we have 79.248 minus 61 equals to cos 60 cos theta. Okay? So now let's subtract now. So this one is going to be 18.248 equals to 60 cos theta. Alright? Now, we divide both sides by 60. So when you do that, you have 18.248 over 60. That gives you cos theta. So when you divide, what do you have? You have 248 divided by 60. So what do you have? You have 0.3041 equals to cos theta. Alright, so now you take arc cos of both sides. So you have arc cos of 0.3041 equals to theta. So what is going to be the value of theta here? So find R cos of 0.3041. So, and drop your answer in the comment section. Don't forget, if you are making use of your calculator, you press your shift cos and you enter this number. So what do we have? What is angle theta? What is angle theta? Yes, what do we have as theta? Yes, I'm waiting for your answers. Okay, Golan has dropped an answer. We have 72.2, okay, 3, okay. Okay, okay, I can see this called, okay, yes, familiaring, I can see familiaring's result. I think it's the same thing with Motunrayo and Nomolara, yes, okay, that is good. Okay, Olawale Gabriel, I can see that. Okay, you guys are doing fine. So, we have 72.30, 72.30, which is also the same thing as 72.3 degrees. So don't forget that to have a degree. So that is the question on trigonometry that we're going to be looking for today. All right. So excuse me. So we are going to be rounding up now. So tomorrow I'm going to look at one or two questions under duration. So I have some selected questions that I want us to look at under duration. So don't forget, at this time tomorrow, so we are going to be having a class, and I can assure you it's going to be interesting. So ensure you inform somebody so that we have good numbers of students online. All right, and just like I promised, someone that requested for set theory. So I'm still going to create time for that. We are going to do set theory. But pending that time, if you need it urgently, you want us to start urgently. So you can go through my videos. I've done a lot of videos on set theory from the elementary, so you can just go through our videos. You're going to see all of those things there. But notwithstanding, we are still going to have a live class on set theory where everybody will be carried along. All right, so guys, I want to believe you learned a lot in today's class. So we are going to be ending the class today. So I want to tell you guys, you are awesome. I love your participation in today's class. It's so much engaging, and you made my day. So thank you very much. I love you guys. Bye bye, and have an awesome night rest. Take care.